Good morning and welcome back to the Blue Review. I'm corporate Greg Bergman, and alongside me, Marcus Grant. What's going on, Marcus? How you doing today?
Doing good, man. Just finishing off my little breakfast sliders here. Got a big old jug of coffee, so we're rolling along into the morning.
You
Thanks.
got all the good stuff. Yeah, I'm started to do where I get a triple espresso shot, and then put coffee over it to start my day
Are you
because,
are you
it,
are you
yeah, no,
are you able to taste colors after that? Like what's happening?
I think that's the way that I have to do it just to get to this level where I'm at now. Because otherwise, I'll be like, yeah, it's the Blue Review. If you wanted to join us, we're brought to you
I
by.
mean, I would think emotionally we probably all feel like that after the last couple of days. But let me
Yeah.
let me step aside so you can give some love to our folks at LAX, though.
Thank you very much. I will give some love to LAX, and at Los Angeles International Airport, changes are arriving daily to reduce traffic, save guest time, and transform the travel experience. Info at flylax.com, transforming LAX. And as always, the Blue Review is brought to you by LAX. So thank you for allowing me to do that, and thank you to LAX. Yeah, there's a lot going on with the Dodgers right now, and I want to start here with you, actually, Marcus, because I saw our friend Jeff Spiegel from Dodger Blue. He put out a tweet last night, and I think it kind of encapsulates what everybody is really thinking. See, if I didn't have 3 shots of espresso, I would not be able to say the word encapsulates. So that's where I'm at right now. So he put it out last night. When the Dodgers win 1,000,000 games, the regular season doesn't matter. Like they won 111 the other year. And when the Dodgers look terrible for a week in July, the sky is falling. Now, the only thing I'd say about that is actually been about 2 months that they've been about 500. But either way, what do you think of that quote?
I mean, I think it's fair. I think also because we are used to seeing this team just blast through the regular season, right? I mean, it's become custom that games in September, like we get to Labor Day and it feels like the games don't really matter anymore because that's kind of how this team has been. That we're just sort of cruising along, waiting for the postseason. This year has been different. There have been more speed bumps in the road. I mean, we started this year talking about how awful the bottom part of the lineup was. Then we went through a stretch where the bullpen really couldn't figure some things out. And then that was a struggle. Now we're at a point where the starting rotation is completely beat up. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Noah Cameras tweet from last night where he basically listed here it is. It says Dodgers current rotation: Gavin Stone, James Paxton, Landon Knack, Justin Robleski, Ryan Yarborough. Dodgers injured rotation: Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, Emmett Sheehan. Yeah. like
Those are top 3 guys on any team, by the way.
Right, exactly. It has been a while, I think, since the Dodgers have had this level of adversity in the regular season. I don't know. What was that year?
Well, you mean last year when they had the same adversity last
True.
year?
True. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's because we are so amped up and so high strung for October that anything that seems wrong, I think it causes us to spiral a little bit.
Yeah, of course it does. And also, I mean, the offense hasn't looked great either. And that's why I see Dead Meow said the offense has been butt too. Like that's something that I can probably say ass, whatever.
You can say ass.
Yeah, I can say ass. Yeah. That works. I just was trying to be corporate about it. But either way, like it has been, but then you're also missing Max Muncy and you're missing Mookie Betts, which are kind of important to that offense as well. So to go back to Jeff's tweet for just a moment, it is very, very fair to say that because they won 111 games and lost in the first round. They're playing badly in July with everybody injured. If you remember 2017, they went to the Game 7 of the World Series and they lost because of the cheating Astros. Like that's how it went down. Right. But if you remember, in that September, they lost 3 weeks in a row. They looked like they were the worst team in baseball.
I remember
they won
thinking
two games or 1 game.
I remember thinking at that point, I'm like, they might never win a game again. Like, what is happening with this team? Like that for me was panic time because it was September, right? Like if you go through that stretch in June, like it's bad, but you're like, it's June. They went through that in September. I'm like, this is bad news. Like, what is happening? And you're right. They get to Game 7 of the World Series. Probably should have, if all things being even, they win that World Series. But that's a whole other show.
Yeah, no, I know. We can get into you, Darvish, all you want in another time.
Man. So yeah, so I mean, I think that all of this sort of combines. Like, I think what we're seeing and what we're feeling as fans, it is it is 10 years of frustration sort of pent up. And so now when the slightest thing goes wrong, there's very much a here we go again feel to it.
And we still have to keep in mind that it has not even hit the All-Star break. I
Right.
know that's just an excuse of like, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. But unfortunately, everything we've been saying since the year started has been none of this matters as long as they make it into the postseason. And I understand we're doing a Dodger show and we have to make everything really big. I go very negative on a lot of things because I'm trying to find those things to have a conversation about the Dodgers. Like, that's just what we do. But the fact is that right now we're in a point where the Dodgers are just playing strictly 500 ball. I mean, I think over the last 2 months, they're just over 500. So I was listening to Blake Harris on with Sedano and Cap yesterday, and he said that since I forgot what date it is, but it was last 42 games. They're 22-20 in their last 42 games. That's 2 games over 500. They have not been very good. And so, but the fact is, they're still, what is it, 6.5, 7.5 games up on. Are they? Did the Padres win last night?
Then the Padres, I believe the Padres lost last night, so I think it stays at 7.
It's see, there you go. It's still 7.5 over, and like they're still the second best record in the National League, not by much because the Brewers are right there. But the fact is, we all have to just like kind of hope to get to the All-Star break. It's next week. We're right
next
there.
week. Just make it through Sunday, man. Just get through Sunday.
Just get through 4 more days. Just make it through, and then relax, and we hopefully will be okay.
It's like I tell my kid, 4 more sleeps, man. Just 4 more sleeps, and we're at the All-Star break. You know, like that's all.
Right. That's all. But I mean, there is things that are going on. There's things that are wrong. There is, like you mentioned, that our pitching staff is a rookie as the number 1 starter who was supposed to be the number 4 starter. That's a problem. Yeah. But there's just so many injuries, and there's a lot that people get upset about because we've seen it so much in the past, right? In the postseason, we saw them not be able to hit, not be able to pitch, getting knocked out by the Diamondbacks, getting knocked out by the Padres. So we say, oh my God, here it goes again. This is what we're going to do it all over again.
So I'll say this: if there's a silver lining, right? And you know me, I'm always trying to find the silver lining here.
You're positive, I'm negative.
I'm trying to be, right? I will say that, like yesterday, obviously they lose, but I felt better about yesterday's loss than I did about Tuesday's loss. I mean, Tuesday was they just got run over. Yesterday, they had that weird 5th inning where Andy Pages loses a ball in the lights.
I don't even know what happened.
I have no idea what happened. Like, he loses the ball somewhere. Even then, Stone almost gets out of it, right? The Phillies had man at third, nobody out. He gets the next 2 outs, one on a great play at second base by Chris Taylor. And then, you get like a 17 hopper up the middle that Miguel Rojas can't field. That gives in 1 run. He gives up a double, and then another, multiple bouncer, another 12, 13 hopper up the middle that scores another run. And they had chances, right? I mean, they get it to 4-3. Will Smith for the final out hits one just short of the wall. I mean, they had chances. It wasn't an awful night. It was more like what we were hoping for coming into this series, maybe with them on the winning side. But I really felt like yesterday, because Stone gave them the best start I think they've had in a while. I know it's not 4 runs in 4 2/3 innings. I know it's not saying a ton, but that's the best start I feel like they've had in a while. So yesterday, I thought there were more positives than what we had after Miller got shellacked on Tuesday.
Absolutely. I actually thought that Gavin Stone pitched really well. And to your point, he did almost get out of that inning. And then Anthony Banda came out and he gave up 2 runs. So it didn't get credited to Banda, but it went to Stone. But those were he had to leave. It was the only part that was disappointing to me was that he had to leave before the 5th inning was over. I thought that he was pitching well enough to win that game. They had chances down the stretch. Like you're saying, they had 1st and 3rd with 1 out with Shohei Ohtani at the plate, and he struck out. It's just it was at the 8th inning, 7th inning, wherever it was. 7th inning. Yeah. So they had those opportunities to get it close and get it done. It just didn't go their way. The Phillies are a very, very good team. And as you watch them, you start to say okay, top to bottom in that lineup is really good. Their starting pitching is really, really good. That Sanchez kid is is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Pitching tonight is Nola. I mean, they
Right.
go from they went Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, and we didn't even see Ranger Suarez, who has had an amazing year as well. So the Phillies are far and away better than everybody else in baseball. I feel like right now, and that's saying something. But all things considered, if the Dodgers were fully healthy, which I think they will be by September, I really truly believe the guys that we need back for the most part, maybe not Muncy, will be back by September. I think the Dodgers have a slight edge, but it'll be very, very close.
Well, and that was a thought I had yesterday, just kind of driving around. Is that look, it is a spot where they are, they're beat up right now, but let's just, I don't know, start hoping that they all get this out of their system, right? That everything that can go wrong sort of goes wrong and gets fixed. And mostly it is about getting guys healthy, getting back Mookie Betts. We'll see if Max Muncy comes back, which, by the way, I did have this thought yesterday. There has to be out there somewhere in Southern California a Pilates instructor who is also a big time Dodger fan. So like we got to do something to strengthen Max's obliques or something. Can we give him some Pilates classes or something? But
I love that.
More importantly, let's just get everybody healthy, right? Get this lineup back together, get the pitching staff back together, have this team looking like the lineup and the rotation that we saw in May and early June when they really had it rolling. Because once they get back to that, I think everybody feels confident about what this team can be going into the postseason.
Absolutely. I wonder if we're going down the same path as the Lakers, right? When we're healthy, and then it just never really gets healthy. That's what we said last year with this Dodgers team. Yeah. When they're healthy, when the pitching gets better, when Walker Buehler comes back, when we get everybody that we possibly need, all of those different things that we're worrying about, they're going to get healthy. At some point, they need to actually they just need to get healthy. But yes, they're just not healthy, and that could really come back to bite them. I just don't know when that will be, but I just hope that it does come through. By the way, I'm waiting for Travis Rogers to possibly join in at some point here. So when he does, if you guys in the other studio, if you can let Travis in when he is ready. I saw there's a little bit of mingling. And hey, look at that! Look who that guy is right there. I knew he was going to come in here at some point. What's up, Trav?
I told you, right? I told you today was going to be the day for sure. I'm ready to do it.
Oh, love it. Well, welcome in, Trav. We were just talking about basically that are we getting to the point where the Dodgers are like the Lakers, like when they get healthy, are they ever going to get healthy? It's kind of a mixed bag right now.
Well, I think the comparison to the health might be a little fair, but they're nothing like the Lakers because they're not in 7th place.
True.
So they're managing to stay above the fray despite the fact that their entire pitching rotation more or less has been hit with the injury bug. They're missing an important bat in their lineup in Max Muncy and Mookie Betts. So they need to get healthy. If they're like this at the end of the line, they're dead in the water before it even starts. You're not going to beat guys 10-8 in the playoffs very often. So they need to get healthy, but I don't think they're anything like the Lakers.
We're not panicking, right? Like this is not time to panic. It's disappointing, but it's not panic button time, right, Travis?
No, it's funny. I was telling Al this morning that this is just kind of how the ebb and flow of the major league season goes. You look at the Yankees, who I think are a pretty good team. They've been terrible for a month. Yeah. The Dodgers have been bad for 4 days. 3 days, and so it's they got problems. They got problems in their pitching rotation, but no, it's not panic time. What's panic time is if they don't do anything at the deadline, and then we fast forward to the middle of August, and Yamamoto's still not throwing, Kershaw's still not throwing, Buehler's wherever he is, Bobby Miller's still in the minor leagues, Tyler Glasnow hasn't come back from. Then it's panic time because you're not going to be able to recover from that, but. It's July 11th. There's a ton of runway left. You still got 3 weeks before the trade deadline. They'll figure something out.
Yeah, so they just played the Phillies 2 or 3. They're going to see him tonight, and it's going to be hopefully can find a way to get one, but it's going to be off of Aaron Nola, which is obviously not very easy to do. So Now that you've seen this Phillies lineup, obviously you knew a little bit about them, but now that you've seen this Phillies lineup from top to bottom and with the pitching staff that they have, which is phenomenal, do you think that even when healthy, the Dodgers are as good as the Phillies?
Both at their best?
Yeah, both at their best.
Yeah, I do. I don't think that the Dodgers are a lot better. I don't think the Phillies are a lot better. I think if those two teams are both at their best and they play 10 times, If someone went 6-4, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to somebody getting a big hit, and not Bryce Harper or Kyle Schwarber or Mookie Betts or Shohei Ohtani. It's going to come down to Miguel Rojas gets a big hit. Alec Boehm gets a big hit. It's one of those guys that's a little bit further down the pecking order that maybe steps up and does something that you get a pitching performance from that's not Zach Wheeler or take your pick, Yamamoto, but rather all of a sudden Gavin Stone throws 6 innings of shutout baseball in a playoff game. That's going to be the difference. They're both really, really, and by the way, I'll throw the Braves in there too. I know that, Acuna and Strider are gone, but I really think that the Braves at their best are right there too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think what we're dealing with this team is just like you said, it is the speed bumps that you get over the course of a season. Greg and I sit on this show every morning, and we sort of nitpick because that's kind of how this show operates or whatever. But you talk about the trade deadline. What is your thought of the biggest pressing need? Is it finding another arm? Is it getting another bat for maybe the bottom of the order? What is the biggest thing that Andrew Friedman needs to address in the next couple of weeks?
Marcus, I think that's exactly the right question to ask, because I think you can make an argument that you have to go get a pitcher, and you could convince me of that. I think you can make an argument that you have to find at least a second outfielder, right? You got Teoscar Hernandez, who's been great, but other than that, it's kind of a revolving door. You got to get third base fixed at some point if Max Muncy's not coming back. They're both really big deals. Here's why I would err a little bit more towards fixing the bottom half of the order, whether it's the outfield, second base, third base, whatever it is. It's not a crazy pipe dream to say that the pitching will fix itself. That if Yamamoto comes back and is healthy, that's an ace coming back. Same thing with Glasnow. If Clayton Kershaw is even decent, that's a lot better than anything you're going to find on the free agent market. If Buehler can figure it out, if Miller can figure it out. I know there's a lot of ifs there, but
it's a lot of ifs.
It's a ton. But all 5 don't have to hit. 2 need to hit, right? Maybe 2.5 need to hit. So the answers to your pitching are at least potentially in-house. There is no in-house answer to somebody playing third base other than Max Muncy. There is no in-house answer to somebody playing right and center field. I know Paz has been okay and Vargas has been okay, but you look at that Philly lineup, you look at some of those other teams like Atlanta, that the bottom half of that, the Dodgers top 5 better than anybody's, or certainly as good as anybody's, but the bottom half, I would tend to lean a little bit more towards the offensive side, just simply because I think that the possibility of fixing it by doing nothing on the pitching, at least it exists.
I think we've been very much aligned, you and me, on guys like Gavin Lux. Just a guy that he's just not good enough to be playing on this Dodgers team, and he's obviously still up there. I think we've been aligned on the fact that Bobby Miller needed to go down because there was a problem that was going on. He needed to be put down because you can't put somebody out there who's going to give up 9 runs consistently like that. What do you think happens with those guys just in general? Like, do we see a lot more Lux? Are they going to move him down? Do you think they'll move him in a trade? Like, do you have any idea, thoughts on what the best thing to do with some of these guys are?
Well, look, okay,
and so Outman, you can put Outman in there as well too.
I still have a little bit of hope that James Outman can become a quality major league player, or at least somebody that you can put in your lineup every day and feel decent about it. I don't have the same feeling for Gavin Lux. He's gotten a lot of runway. Let me ask you guys this. When he came up to bat in the 9th inning last night, did it ever cross your mind that he was going to get a hit?
It was one pitch. He took one pitch. He popped up on one pitch.
That's what I mean. It's like he's just not that guy. And I was never a huge fan of his. I know he had a little moment in the playoffs a couple of years ago where he was hot coming in and stayed hot, and they tried him in the outfield. I just don't think he's the guy. Hopefully this kind of goes back to being a little bit optimistic, but hopefully Rojas continues to play the way that he has. You leave him at shortstop. You put Mookie back at second base when he gets healthy and he comes back, and all of a sudden you get an all-star caliber player at second base, and Gavin Lux doesn't see the field. Rojas is more than holding his own at shortstop. Defensively, he's terrific. Offensively, he's certainly been good enough. And cross your fingers that Muncy, is able to refine his groove when he's been gone a long time. But Lux, I have no faith that he's going to figure it out. Outman a little bit, because I've seen some real stuff from him. I've never really seen a lot of real stuff from Lux, and I wouldn't hate seeing Vargas get a little bit of an extended run just to see what that looks like for a second time. But I think that the outfield solution probably is somewhere else, whether that's a Rosarena or Robert or somebody else. I think that's a big upgrade over what they have right now.
Well, my thought was, at least in the short term, maybe if you want to get Vargas in there and get him some more bats, why don't you move him to second base, and give Lux some time off, let Vargas get some of those some of those innings over there. I gotta ask, because we've been talking about Gavin Stone a lot. He's been great, obviously. Do we worry he hits the rookie wall at some point in the second half?
Or did he hit it last night?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
right?
two. That's two.
Yeah, they all do. I don't know why he would be different. Yeah. I mean, you usually have the league adjusts too, and it's not just the innings and the length of the season, which is a big part of it, but the rest of the league has 3 full months of how does this guy pitch? How does he attack? Where does he like to go? What does he use as his out pitch? What happens when he's behind? What happens? They got a lot of data on this guy now that didn't exist leading up to this point. And all these teams use that stuff. He's been really good. I'm optimistic that he'll continue to be pretty good. But yeah, I mean, what is he, 9-3 or something like that? And has looked really good. I don't think he's going 9-3 in the second half of the season. I think if you got somebody that could give you 5+ innings at a start, give up 2 runs or so, and take a little bit of that burden off of your bullpen, which is going to get taxed to high heaven over the course of the next few weeks with everybody being down. You just need somebody that can go out there and be good. He doesn't have to be as good as he's been. He just needs to continue to be good enough.
Yeah, he's in the postseason at this point. Is if they don't go out and get somebody like a Crochet or what's the other guy from Detroit?
In the same boat, though, right?
Yeah, he very much. He's just the name that gets thrown around the most. I mean, there's the other Jack Flaherty is another name that's being thrown around. I only thought he was good 3 years ago in St. Louis, and that really. So I don't know what starting pitchers are out there that are actually going to make a full difference for this team. There's not that Yu Darvish. There's not that Max Scherzer.
There's not a Darvish. There's not a Scherzer, but there's one guy. I just don't know if they can get their hands on him because the guy on the other end is just a knucklehead. It's Tyler Anderson, right?
But that's like a third starter too.
Yeah, but you know what he does? He doesn't get hurt. He pitches every 5 days. And that you don't need Tyler Anderson to be your opening game starter in the round of the division series. You need somebody like Tyler Anderson to pitch 6 innings every 5th day for the next 3 months. That's what you need while you kind of get to the end of the line. I just don't think the Angels will do a deal with the Dodgers.
Here's the I'll throw this one out there, and this is an older guy, but Nathan Eovaldi, bring him back home.
Right.
Home.
He's been great, especially in the postseason too.
Yeah.
He's been terrific, and you Marcus, you're right. Bring him home. He started his career at the Dodgers. He's one of those guys that kind of bounced around a little bit and really found it in Texas. I was talking to some people, and I brought up that name too. Apparently, the asking price on him is super steep, like really significantly steep.
And wild for a guy who's 34.
I know, and I don't know his contract situation off the top of my head. So he may have some runway after this that people are uninterested in buying. He's another one of those 2-time Tommy John guys. But yeah, I mean, if you could just rent him, I think that's kind of an interesting one. I guess it's what is the price?
Yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit too high. If they can get it, they need to do something, and it has to come down to starting pitching. You need at least
can I throw a little silver lining on this?
Sure.
The fact that they're so banged up right now, both in the rotation and offensively, and that the deadline is only, what do we got? We got 20 days before the deadline, right?
Yeah.
So they have to do something. That if everybody were really healthy, if Yamamoto were still cranked up, if Glasnow were cranked up, if Walker Buehler was doing okay, if Bobby Miller was kind of good enough, they might sit on their hands and do nothing. And then if all of this, hit the fan in the middle, after the 1st of August, you can't fix it. Well, they have to fix it right now just to get to the end of the line. So hopefully they fix it with a guy that's, kind of good enough, or maybe 2 of those guys that are kind of good enough. And then 1 or 2 or 3 of those guys that you got your fingers crossed on, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Miller, Kershaw, Buehler, that 2 or 2.5 of those guys bounce back. Now all of a sudden you got something.
Deadline spur action.
Yep.
Sure.
19 days away, and hopefully it's not, and hopefully they don't have to give up too much because they're in that position of need. Either way, Travis, thank you very much for coming on. You guys are coming up in here in just a couple of minutes, and Marcus will be in today with Mason, so you get to hang out a little bit more during crosstalk.
Excellent.
So look forward to that. Thank you both for coming on to the Blue Review. Thank you to LAX, and we will see you tomorrow. Actually, I'm not sure about tomorrow. We got to figure that out because it's All-Star Friday night. See ya. I don't know if we're out or not. you.
Very.